All right, so I'm going to show you how to grab an external URL, put it into the module. You're going to come to your external URL. I'll use this Google Doc here. Highlight the URL. A shortcut is Command L. Copy it, Command C, and then paste it into this URL box, Command V. Next, I want to give it a name. I'll call this a Google Doc shared. And I can hit Add Item. And now I have this link for this Google Doc when they click on it. What's cool about using external URLs is when they click on it, it actually loads the URL into the body of Canvas. In other words, it embeds it into that page within Canvas. So that's kind of a slick use of external URLs. All right, the next thing that we're going to cover is the setting up course navigation, organizing content, and accessing it through modules. So you can see I have 2 items in my Unit 1, and I can come down here and add items to my Unit 2, or I can just drag items from Unit 1 into Unit 2. You can kind of drag and drop those things around. Of course, I want to make sure things are published for my students to be able to view these units and these modules. So let's go check that out real quick. I go to Settings for my course. I come up here to Student View, and now my students, they come to the course. Hey, get started with modules. They can click on Modules link, and they see Unit 1 and they see Unit 2, and they have access to these units. All right. So a great pro tip here is if this was a shared Google Doc for the whole class, and I gave them edit rights, they can edit it right here in the fly of in the workflow of Canvas without having to go to outside sources. I'm going to go ahead and leave Student View, and we're going to talk about uploading files. So if a great practice, you can, if you have a lot of PDFs or worksheets, you have PowerPoints, you have Word docs, and you are constantly wanting students to have access to those things, you might want to upload all those in bulk and then just easily embed them by using the right-hand navigation. So I'm going to click on Files down here, and this takes me to the files for this course, and I can in bulk upload files to this course. On the right hand side here, you can see I have the option to create multiple folders inside of this if I want to do that, or I can come over and look for materials by clicking the upload button, find the folder on my drive that has the materials that I'm looking for. So I have one on my desktop called Canvas Files, and then I can choose to upload all of those files. Cancel. So I can create a folder and give it a name, and inside of this folder, I clicked on it. I can choose to sort of bulk upload multiple files. So I'm going to go ahead and look on my desktop. I have, let's say, this image, this screenshot, this PDF, this PowerPoint, and this Google Doc or this Word doc, and I can hit upload. And what I did is I held the command button while I individually selected different files, and you can see it's going to upload these files directly into that folder. And now these files, after they've been uploaded, are ready for me to add to any of my pages. So let's go into the home page here, and I'll open up the home page, and now I can edit this home page. And if I have a file that I just uploaded, you can see now under my course settings there's the folder file, and there are the different options that I have available. I'm going to go ahead and on this home page I want them to be able to have access to this student PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and click in that student PDF, and I hit save. And now my students have the link to download that PDF, or they can click the little preview button if they're on a laptop, and that preview button will actually show or embed that PDF directly into the body of Canvas. And so there's that PDF using that preview, so they can just preview it that way. So real quick in uploading files, and then those files are easily accessed when you're editing any page on the right hand side here under the Files tab. Excellent. So we're going to talk about creating assignments and scoring assignments. In my modules, I've already created an assignment right here. I'm going to now click on it, and it brings me to the assignment, and I want to edit this assignment. I've already given it a name from the modules, and so here's that rich content editor again. So I can give them a prompt, and one thing that's really nice is you can even just record a prompt, and I don't know if I can record it with my screen already going, but I can record a prompt right here. Hey guys, I want you to complete this task. Here's what you're going to do. We're going to, make copies of ID badges. So then I can save that out. And so I saved the task instructions via a video link. And when I scroll down, give it some point value, decide which assignment group it goes into. And if you're uploading to SIS, you want to make sure that this matches up with one of the groups from SIS, for example, homework. And it's going to be points. And then here we have the option to submit online, submit on paper, like if they're just going to do it on paper and turn it into you. So you might choose that option, or submit online or external tool if you have CK12 or another website that can pass grades to Canvas. There are several out there, but typically you'll choose online or on paper, or no submission. And so let's say this is an online submission and I want them to be able to text that into me, or record a video up to me, or upload a file. So you can give them multiple options or only give them one option. And then there are several other pieces of information. I'm gonna skip through it for sake of what we're doing here. But you do want to make sure that this is included if you want this to show up in SIS, to be imported into SIS. So there's the little checkbox. And then you decide who gets this assignment. It can be the entire section. It can be just one student. You decide, and you can have multiple due dates for the different sections. So everyone else gets it due today, and the B. Moser Sandbox section gets it due on Saturday. The available from and until is optional, totally optional. This says when they can start interacting with it, and this one is for when they can no longer submit assignments. I don't use this one very often because I like to collect late work. And so that's all we really need to do for an assignment. We hit save. Now that assignment is saved, we have our settings down here, and the last thing I can do is quickly add a rubric to it. And the rubric is, I'm just going to have a rubric that lets me determine if this is a complete assignment. They get full marks, they get 5. If it's partial marks, they'll get 3, and if it's no marks, they get 0. You notice I just clicked the little arrow here and it split the values. And I'm going to use this rubric for grading, and I'm going to go ahead and just create that rubric, and it's telling me, hey, my points were 10 and my rubric is 5. Do you want to adjust it? And I'll say, yes, change that. Thanks for catching that, Canvas. So now my point value is 5, my rubric is 5. I'm ready to go and grade this thing. Once students start submitting, I can use SpeedGrader to grade it. So let's go ahead and be a student now. And let's see what this assignment looks like. Remember, I go to Settings, I go to Student View, and I can see now on the right hand side of the home page I have an upcoming assignment. 5 points, example 1 assignment. It's due October 29th at midnight. So that's upcoming assignment. And so I can click on it here to go to it, or if I was a student, I can go to the modules and I can see this assignment is also due right here. So I'm going to click on the assignment. I get the instructions for the assignment. I can watch the video of that assignment. Hey guys, I want you to complete this task. Excellent. I have the rubric right here, 5 points, and I'm ready to submit my assignment. I click the submit button. You see I have this option to upload a file. I upload my file, and I can give a comment. I think this is correct. And now I can submit this for my teacher. And when you submit it, the student gets a confirmation saying the submission was turned in correct, or the submission was turned in. Here are the details for the submission that I, as the student, submitted. I can download my submission that I, as the student, submitted, and I have my comments that I, as the student, submitted, and I can resubmit if I need to. So you'll notice now, as a student, if I click on grades, the assignment was submitted. There's a little icon showing it's been submitted. I also can see that I, as a student, made a comment in here. So it's a great tracking piece for students. Let's go back now as the teacher and see what this looks like from a teacher's standpoint. Here, the teacher in the gradebook can see the submission, and they can see now that this student, in this case the test student, has submitted it. I haven't scored it yet. So as a teacher, I can come here and just give them 5 points. Boom, I just scored it. Or I can go to the assignment, and using the SpeedGrader link on the right-hand side, I can use the rubric to score this assignment. So here the student, the test student, which it shows on the right-hand side here, had submitted this file. There it is. And I want to give this person full marks. I give them full marks, hit save. Now that is saved. The full marks is recorded in the rubric, and I can tell the student it looks great. And as a teacher, you have some extra tools here, like if you want to tell the student with a video, hey dude, it looked really great. Now they get that inflection, and they get your tone, and they get your energy as well. So that's submitted for my student. The rubric is scored, and I'm going to go back into the course, and as a student, just to show you, because this might be the first time you're seeing this, I'm going to show you what this looks like. The student had received feedback. Here it is, 5 out of 5 on this assignment. Under the grade section, there's a little badge saying, hey, this is a new grade posted, 5 out of 5. I can see I received 5 points for my marks. And as a student, if I go in, I can view the assignment. Here's the submission I submitted. There's the rubric. I got 5 marks thanks to this person, Brad Moser. And let me close the rubric. And here's the video comment from my teacher. Hey dude, it looked really great. Saying it looked really great. I can interact again with my teacher here or resubmit the assignment. So you can kind of see how all of that is managed, all with just one tool. So a powerful way to use SpeedGrader, to use grading, and use online assignments. The last thing then is we're going to import that over into SIS. And so if you look at your assignments page, it lists all your assignments, and one of these icons here is an icon that says post to SIS. And so if that's enabled, when you sign into SIS, you will get this icon. You'll have the ability to import it. And so let's go ahead and sign into SIS. When you go to SIS, you'll go into your gradebook, and there'll be this Canvas icon which you will click. It will ask you to link up to your class. If you haven't already done so, you'll click on the course from Canvas. You've already indicated which assignments you want posted into SIS through the Assignments tab, and then you select the assignments to import, and the best practice is just select all, and it will always pull in the most recent updates to scores from Canvas. You select all, hit import, and it pushes those grades into your Canvas gradebook. So we've covered setting up a home page, set up course navigation, organizing content and modules, uploading files, creating assignments, scoring assignments, and then importing into SIS for your course. The last thing I would do is I would then have my course published so that the students who are automatically synced from SIS can access this course. Guys, we've flown through this past 15-25 minutes of material. I hope it was valuable for you, and move on to the task, which is going to ask you to create a homepage for your course, create some modules in your course, and then respond to the prompt to complete this module. Reach out to me. I'd love to sit down with you and help you customize your course or make some fun buttons or gadgets or images for your course. All right, carry on.